Hey everybody, my name is Anna Gieselman and I am here to teach you some neuro drills. I am a neuro coach. That means I've studied applied neurology and I teach people how to regulate their nervous system and how to train their brain so that they feel better, have less pain, move better, better performance. Um, and I'm also a functional range conditioning coach. So I teach people how to make their joints function. So if they can't raise their arm or they have a funky hip that doesn't move like a hip should move, we troubleshoot that and try to fix those problems. I was a yoga teacher for probably 15 years and meditation teacher. Um, and before that, a long, long time ago, I was also a massage therapist for a decade. So I've been working in the healing arts for a long time. And I love sharing neurology with people. I love teaching them how to manipulate their brain so they have better outputs. And today I'm just going to teach you a few simple things. They're called neuro drills. And it's going to be up to you to assess them to see if they work for you. Not all inputs work the same for all people. So it's really important that you take an assessment, and that could be a range of motion assessment, it could be a strength assessment, it could even be something like taking your heart rate, even though that we're not going to get into that too much. But you need to take an assessment before, and then you do a drill, and then you reassess the exact same thing afterwards. And what we're looking for is improvements in range of motion, improvements in strength, reduction of discomfort or muscle tension. There is one rule with this, and that is that I don't want you to assess pain. So if it hurts when you raise your arm and you're like, ow, then I don't want you to assess that, because whatever you do regularly, your brain gets better at doing. So if you're asking your brain, oh, does it hurt? Does it hurt? Does it hurt? It is reestablishing those pathways of pain over and over and over, and it's not going to help you long term. So that's the one rule, is don't assess pain. You're going to assess something else. It can be tight, it can be sore, it can be uncomfortable, but it can't be painful. Okay, that's a major rule. So what are neuro drills? They are neuro targeted exercises. So some things are addressing the fuel supply to your brain, which is oxygen. Some of the drills are going to be with your vision, which is largely a frontal lobe, but not entirely. Vision happens throughout the brain. Um, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can stimulate different brain regions, like the cerebellum or the frontal lobe. And you can also stimulate different sensory input systems, like visual input or vestibular input. So today we're just going to do a few drills. And if you would like to learn more, I'm offering a 7-day little package of neuro drills, what I would call neuro warm-ups. So there will be 7 days worth. Each day is going to cover a vestibular input drill, a visual input drill, a cranial nerve brainstem activation drill, some frontal lobe exercises, a little bit of proprioceptive work, which is like body movement sort of stuff, like joint mechanics and fascial stretches. Um, so it's a lot of content, but it's put into 7 kind of bite-sized sections. And the reason why I chose 7 is because I want you to have enough drills for each day of the week. So there's going to be 5 days that are, I don't want to say activating drills, but kind of dynamic neural drills. And then there will be 2 days. One day is going to be inhibition drills, which is like calming, um, parasympathetic activating. And then there's going to be one day that is mostly meditation with a little bit of tapping work. And the way I thought about this was just like, okay, give you 5 sets of drills for the work week, whether that's like you're working out or you're going to your job or you're living life, being a mom, whatever you do. So 5 days of drills and then a weekend's worth of kind of calm down drills. So if you're interested in purchasing that, it's on my website. There will be a link for it when you get the link for this video. Um, and today is just a few drills. So if you like what you experienced today and you want to learn more, you know what to do next. So let's get started. I'm going to put this little microphone on my shirt. And we are going to start with respiration because the quickest way to change the state of your brain is with breathing. And we're going to do something that's called a wave breath. Um, for this drill, I'd like for you to take an assessment beforehand and then afterwards. And what I'm going to do is just check my neck because that's an area that has tension. So let me show you a few options. You might check your neck and see, okay, how does it feel to turn? How far am I looking? Feels a little tight when I go to the left. So that could be a drill. You could have your arm out to a T, thumbs up, and see, okay, how does shoulder flexion feel? My shoulders are pretty flexible, but even still, I could have a little bit of tension on this side that I could measure. Basically, you need something that you can measure in your body, and that might be active. So if you have EDS or you're like super duper flexible, sometimes it's really hard to feel if something changes flexibility wise because you're already at your end range all the time. So if that's you, I would do a strength assessment. So you might do a push up, you might do a standing squat. If you have weights at your house, you might do like an overhead press. You want whatever you're doing to be slightly hard so you can feel if it gets easy. So, for instance, if you had weights, you wouldn't want like a little 3 pound weight because you could probably lift that all day long and not even tell if it changed, if it got harder or easier. So, you want something that's a little bit hard. Um, again, shouldn't be painful. So choose something right now. Go ahead and do it, either a forward fold or a twist in your body, neck rotation, whatever it is. You're going to take a measurement in your body. Be very clear. Notice how it feels. Okay. If you need some time, press pause, figure that out, and then come back. So for the wave breath, you're going to have one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. If you're sitting in a chair, you can kind of relax. I feel like it's a little bit easier to do this when you're not trying to hold yourself upright. And what you're going to do is you're going to start to inhale into the bottom hand first. So the bottom hand fills up with air, and then the top hand, and you get all the way up to your throat, and you exhale from the top hand down to the bottom. Got it? It's a bottom to top inhale, a top to bottom exhale. And you can rest your eyes. You can rest your eyes if you want. Get that on there. Or you can have your eyes open. It doesn't really matter. I find it helpful for me to close my eyes because it helps me feel how my ribs are expanding. You're trying to do a big 360 breath. So your ribs expand all around. So here we go. Remember, bottom to top, inhale, top to bottom, exhale. And you're just going to go at your own pace, breathing through your nose. A couple more. Inhale, full exhale. Okay. So after you've done that, you're going to reassess the exact same thing you assessed before. So for me, it was my neck. I'm going to see how it feels to turn my neck. And that is better for me. So that's what we're looking for, is a change that happens pretty quickly. Any changes that happen in your nervous system are immediate. Your nervous system is lightning speed fast. So if you're not sure, you might need to do that drill a little bit longer. Like if nothing changed, you might have to make it a little bit more demanding for your brain. So you might need to do the drill standing up in a lunge stance. You might need to do it for longer duration. But if you're very sensitive, you might not need to even do it that long. If you feel like you got tighter afterwards, you might try the same thing lying down. And that's kind of how these drills work. They're on a spectrum. Like what works for me might not be what works for you. And what your brain needs might your brain might need more higher load, more input. Other people might need way less to have a change and adaptation. So that's why you have to measure. I can't just give you instructions like, oh, this is the one way to do it for success, because your brain is your brain. So you have to work with it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is a visual drill. And again, I want you to assess your neck because your vision has a lot to do with neck tension. And we're going to do what's called gaze stabilization. It's basically like a primary skill for your eyes. If your eyes cannot stabilize, you're going to have some problems. And that's exactly what it is. You're just basically going to fix your eyes on a different point. Since most of us, or a lot of us, spend time looking at a computer screen about a foot or two away from us, it's slightly beneath us, maybe right in front of us. Our eyes are used to staring at one particular area, but we're not really using them in different ranges. So we're going to test 3 different gaze fixations. One, your head's going to be neutral and your eyes are slightly higher, not so high that your eyebrows have to raise or you feel strain in your eyes. It's just a gentle upward gaze. And then we're going to do to the right and we're going to do the left. And we're going to measure between all of them because they could all have different results. So if you have vision issues, or if you feel like in general you've got a lot of chronic pain, you might have some autoimmune stuff, high stress in your life, I want you to just hold these eye fixations or stabilizations for about 10 seconds. If you do not have any of those problems, you have no pain, you're an athlete, high functioning, all those things, you can go longer and you might do this drill standing up. And that is what I mean by load adjustment. So people who are really sensitive or sick, sit down, maybe even lie down. If you've had concussion, brain injury, I want you to do this lying down. Okay, so you'll lie down on your back when you're doing the gaze hold. Those of you that are not in that situation, you need to make it harder for your brain, more interesting. So you might stand up, stand in like a sports specific stance where maybe you're in a lunge or maybe you're standing on one foot and you're going to hold the drill for a little bit longer than 10 seconds. Okay. So take a measurement and you could check your neck right to left, like I showed you before. You could also try tilting your head right to left and see how tight that feels. Good. And then also, because gaze stabilization has a lot of frontal lobe activation, and frontal lobe is where movement comes from, I want you to do a movement exercise. So I'm going to do a little push up because I'm not great at push ups. I actually hate push ups. um, you could do a standing squat if you want. You could do um, any kind of physical activity, but I'm going to do a little kneeling push up just to see how does it feel in my body. So, okay. So I got my push up and I also have the way my neck feels. I'm going to do this drill standing up because I already do a lot of applied neurology and my brain is used to a higher load. So I'm going to make it harder for myself. You might stay sitting. So what you're going to do, your head is going to be held still. You're going to look straight forward and then slightly up, not super high up, just enough. Don't raise your eyes so high that your eyebrows have to go up. So you're going to hold your gaze. You need to find something that doesn't move that you can look at and then just hang out there. You might be for 10 seconds, you might be for 20 seconds. Okay, and then once again, you're going to reassess the exact same things. So I'm going to reassess my neck. That's about the same for me. And then I'm going to reassess my push-up. That felt better. That felt stronger. That's good. Okay, so this is one reason why I like to have more than one assessment, because sometimes it's hard when you're like, I don't know, my neck, is it better? Is it not better? But when you have a strength assessment, my first push-up felt awful. And then the second one was like, oh, hey, I could do more of these. And all I did in between those two was focus my eyes. So it's not like I got like a warm up or anything. Okay, so that was gaze stabilization slightly up. And now we're going to do slightly to the right. So again, you might be lying down, you might be sitting, you might be standing on one foot. It all just depends on the spectrum of difficulty for you. So I'm going to stand on one foot and I'm going to lock my eyes over to the right. Don't let your head move. Okay. And then reassess. Same exact things, neck and whatever physical activity you did. Oh, my neck feels good. My neck like that. Okay. Well, not my neck, my brain liked it. And then I'm going to go back for my push-up again. Nice. That was better too. Deeper. Good. Okay. Then the last one we're going to do is slightly to the left. I already know, because I've worked with my brain a lot, to the left is a harder direction for me to look. My eye muscles are weaker. I sometimes can get a threat response, which would mean like my push-up would get worse looking to the left. So I'm going to hold mine for just 10 seconds. And I'm also going to do it sitting down because I want to reduce the load from my brain. So here we go. Head is neutral and eyes are going to look slightly to the left. Okay. I'll just share with you that as I'm looking to the left, what I'm looking at kind of looks like it's going double vision style. That didn't happen on the other direction. So left has some issues for me. That's why I only held it for 10 seconds and I'm sitting down. So I'm going to check my neck. Neck feels pretty good. It didn't get worse, so that's good. And then we'll come back for the push-up. Felt about the same. Okay, good. So I didn't get worse, which is good. But the fact that I could feel my eyes kind of bouncing around tells me that I need to do a little work over there to the left. So that is gaze fixation. And hopefully one of those three was positive for you. And you can start to introduce that into your day, every day, doing these things that are positive for your brain. Okay, so now we're gonna do a vestibular drill. Vestibular is your inner ear balancing system. You've got organs and canals that tell your brain where you are in space. So for this one, I'll show you one way to do it and then I'll show you another way to do it. So you're gonna come up to standing and we're gonna do a little side to side, what I would call a shimmy. So what I want you to do is first assess how it feels to do a forward fold. So you're just going to lock out your knees and forward fold. Oh, my hamstrings are tight. I did some leg work yesterday. Okay, so I got a sense of how that feels. The first way to do this is you step your feet really wide. You bend your knees, kind of like you're doing like some ballet exercise or qigong. You're going to look straight forward and you're going to glide right to left. Your eyes look straight forward, your body is gliding. You're not wagging your butt. You're also not wagging your head. Your trunk is moving side to side. So this is one way to do this. If you were an athlete, you would go a little bit faster. You might even kind of skip one foot than the other. If you are new to this, you're going to go slower and shorter. Okay. And then stand all the way up and reassess right away. Not quite as tight feeling. Okay, so another way to do this is to walk with your head turned. So you do need like way more room. I would ideally do this in a hallway or an open field, not in a tiny room like what I have. But I'm going to back up into the corner. I'm going to turn my head to the right. And I'm going to walk forward. And then when I get here, I'm going to slowly turn around, walk back. This probably is not going to change my nervous system because I do this regularly in a much more active way, but I'm still showing it to you. So walking with your head turned. And then once you've done one side, head turn to the right, reassess. Well, actually, that does feel pretty good. Now I'm going to do head to the left. It's the same thing. I'm going to go in the corner or in a hallway if I had it. Head turn to the left. I'm going to walk. When you turn around, if you're in a small room like me, turn around slowly. Okay, that one felt surprisingly harder to do. Like it felt just more difficult to do. And it also made my legs feel a little bit tighter. So my brain didn't like that second one. That is to stimulate both the side to side and the walking with your head turned is to stimulate an inner ear organ called your utricle. When your head is turned to the right, stimulates right utricle, head turn left, stimulate left utricle. So, and then when you're doing the side to side, it's both. So you might find that one side needs more input than the other. And so if that's true for you, like you found when you walked with your head to the right, it was way better than head to the left, then just do the head to the right for a little bit. And you could do these every single day, okay? Okay, so then the last thing we're gonna do is basically a vagus nerve drill. So the vagus nerve is one of your cranial nerves. It's super duper important. And to assess before this one, let me take this camera off. To assess before this one, you're going to cross your arms, going to be nice and tall in your chair, and you're going to rotate your torso and just see when I'm at the end of the twist, how does it feel? What am I looking at? And then when I go the other way, this way is always hard for me. How is that looking? Okay, that's it. Then for the drill, you're going to be grabbing your tragus. This is that little piece of cartilage that sometimes people pierce. You're going to be grabbing both sides. It's kind of hard to hold on to, at least for some people. So you're going to kind of pinch onto it and you're going to gently pull, and then you're going to gently twist. Gently. I don't want you emailing me saying, oh, I hurt my ear. Be gentle. So you're going to gently pull and you're going to do a little wiggle. And then at the same time, you're going to hum. So take a breath in through your nose. Okay. And then you're going to reassess the exact same thing. So I'm going to rotate. Much better. Okay, good. So that is for the vagus nerve. If any one of those things moved the needle for you, you felt like your range of motion improved, your strength improved, then remember that and do those drills on a regular basis. Neuroplasticity only happens with repetition. It's just like working out. You want to have big biceps, you don't lift weights once, you lift weights like numerous times a week. So with your brain, same thing. If you're trying to make an adaptation, whether that's to get out of chronic pain or to be a better athlete, to perform better. You have to give your brain the inputs that it needs regularly. I cannot emphasize that enough. So, um, if you found these things interesting and you're like, wow, I want to know more, there's a whole bunch more. There's a lot of other cranial nerves. There's other vestibular exercises. There's a ton of eye exercises. There's body mechanic stuff. There's cerebellum drills. There's frontal lobe drills, all of which we're going to cover in the week-long neuro warm-up series. So if you're interested, there's information on my website. You can purchase it. There will be a link with this. So there's different ways you can access it. And basically how it goes is once you purchase it, then that day you're going to get an email that has the first batch of sessions. You'll get another email the next day for 7 days total. So by the time it's all said and done, you'll have a lot, like over 25 different drills that you can use to improve your vision, improve your balance, lower pain, improve your performance, motor output. So it's a lot of information. It's not really, the one thing is it's not about the why, it's the how. So I'm going to show you how to do these things. I'm not going to go into a ton of neuroanatomy about why it does this or what it's for. I'm just going to blast you with techniques. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, sign up. I'd love for you to learn more about this life-changing practice. Thanks for being here and have a lovely day.